Cody Rigsby for president, yay or nay?
Yay. What the hell?
Sure, why not?
No.
I'm Jon Hosking, Peloton Instructor.
I was scared of everything about it.
Ever wondered what we really talk about when the cameras stop rolling?
And I almost, I cried.
No script, no filters.
My friends were by my side, and that was the most emotional I've ever been crossing a finish line.
So join me and members of the Peloton community and take your seat at the next table.
Shocking.
All our hands in. This is the real power of the leaderboard right here with us four. Today, I have the privilege of talking with three individuals who truly embody the spirit of our members from every corner of the leaderboard. First up, Crystal O'Keefe. Crystal is the co-host of The Clip Out, a popular weekly podcast and news organisation dedicated to the Peloton community and the broader fitness industry. She's been documenting the brand since our plucky startup days back in 2016. A certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, Crystal often shares her personal transformation journey. Next, we have Jon Prewitt, known to many by his legendary leaderboard name, Kenny Bania. Jon is perhaps most famous as the community's unofficial meme king, but I like to think of him as the community's chief mischief officer. Whether he's clipping hilarious instructor outtakes or poking fun at the quirks of studio life and turning them into social media gold. And finally, Derek Lockett, a man who truly embodies the heart of the leaderboard. Derek is so much more than just a dedicated rider. He is a long-standing member for the Black Peloton Riders Facebook community. But what really sets Derek apart is his work with My Brother's Keeper, a powerful documentary series and community movement that explores the intersection of fitness, race, and mental health. I wanted to see whether we could just join together in a collective high five in the middle of this table with all our hands in to create a real team feel to today's roundtable discussion. Thank you so much for joining us all together. This is the real power of the leaderboard right here with us four. Amazing.
Four-way
stuff.
high five.
Thank you so much. What an absolute pleasure. Listen, we all have that one friend who thinks, wow, they talk about Peloton all the time. They must be part of a cult. But what's your response to that person in the immediacy of them saying something like that? What's your moment where you stick up for yourself and you go, no, trust me, this is what it's about?
Man, nobody ever told me that. I know people ask me, do you work for Peloton? Like, not really, but, I want people to be out, I want people to find their source to fitness and wellness. So many people sit behind a TV or a computer desk all day and they don't get out. And I'm like, all right, look, Peloton you have just workout. You could just go take a walk. You could listen to audio while you walk. You could do something. You know what I'm saying? You could do meditation, yoga, Pilates. Now, I'm not doing that, but, there's so much stuff you could do in Peloton, just to be active. Get that blue dot. Make sure you get a blue dot every day. Shoot for that. And so that's for me. Nobody had told me it's a cult, not yet.
But if you had to put it down to one ingredient, what would you say is our secret sauce?
The community,
Yes,
absolutely.
the community.
Yeah, they show up day after day. It's amazing to me that if I'm not on the leaderboard, somebody reaches out to me. Are you okay? Like
Really?
in like a kind way. Like, is everything okay? Are you not feeling well? That kind of thing. And I love that accountability, but I also love the friendships that have formed. I mean, I don't know where else there's anything that you could, across the entire world, have, no matter where I travel, there's somebody who is a Peloton member, and I can go visit another country and find people that are Peloton people, and we meet up, and that's magical, I like to say some people use church as their community, and Peloton is my community. So.
It is extraordinary, isn't it? I think that's one thing that I've really found is, particularly in the last 5 years that I've been with Peloton, if I travel and then I put on my Instagram that I'm in Madrid or wherever, someone will reach out and be like, welcome to Madrid. You want any run routes around here, Jon? Listen, but particularly when I've been traveling in the States, everywhere I've been in the States, I did a road trip down the whole West Coast, and the amount of people that reached out to me and was just like, so good to have you in Seattle, Hosky. And I'm like, it's good to be in Seattle. Thanks so much, Peloton. Amazing stuff. No, it's been incredible.
I mean, I would say it's people have said, you're part of that Peloton cult. I'd be like, yeah, it's the greatest cult ever. and they think I just want to sell them a bike. And that's just their immediate knee-jerk reaction. But I mean, the community is great, but also I think the instructors and just the whole platform, the content and the music that you all have access to, it's always kept fresh. You guys are always reinventing, different content and new class types. So it never gets stale. And there's always something that keeps you engaged and keeps you coming back for more.
I think from my perspective, I think we as instructors feel like we're part of the community. So it's not kind of, there isn't this big separation. There's this moment where it's like, well, like, I'm in the community, so what do we want to do? What do we want to do together? And it's that kind of like collective force that I think that we've all got, that we're all kind of in this together, and we want to listen to the great music and we want to have the great moments. We want to inspire one another and keep things moving. And I think that's so unique, and no one could have prepared me for that before I started.
One thing I love about it is that even though if you look at Peloton as this town, you have so many different neighborhoods. So if you don't, you could find your neighborhood, your group, your family within Peloton, and make Peloton one bigger family. Like the team captains, we have Peloton Dads, we have LGBTQ, we have Silver Fox. So you have all these different groups, like for recovering alcoholics, for people, for this group or that group, and you can find your group, you can find your neighborhood, and still be part of the community.
Yes.
And that's what I love about it.
Agreed.
And then you could just go to different neighborhoods and meet people.
And you visit.
Yeah. You visit.
Guys, I'm just stopping by. I love what you've done with the place. Really, really great. And you think that holds you accountable to degrees that you weren't prepared for, but do you think that's what keeps you around for 5, for 10 years?
Yes.
That's what keeps making you come back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's knowing you've got all these neighborhoods that you haven't yet visited.
Yes.
You find your people, but then you discover other people that normally you wouldn't normally run into.
Yeah, you won't see on the
make these
street or
new
something.
friendships that
Yes.
develop.
None of us would be in this room together, and were it not for Peloton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing.
And it makes you curious, doesn't it? It makes you inquisitive. You're like, what's going on over there? Let me have a little look at that 30-minute hill ride we got going on. See what we got there. I know the feeling. What would be the one thing you would explain to someone as this most special thing that someone won't necessarily see from the outside?
I feel like the time that stands out the most to me is when I first joined Peloton. I really wanted to do more athletic things. I didn't think of myself as an athlete at all, and still don't really. But I have a lot of friends who, on the leaderboard, were training for an Ironman, and a half Ironman specifically. They convinced me to sign up for a half Ironman in Atlantic City. You can do a team event where you have only one piece of it that you have to do. So that was the very first time that I ever ran a half marathon, and I trained. And we had a virtual team. I'd never met these people, and I'm still friends with them today. The Fred and I, his leaderboard is the Fred, and we will often say like our whole idea to get through that day was just finish. Like there were no times. We didn't care how we did it. Being able to celebrate at the end and still be friends today. And when I'm in Atlanta or when he's in Missouri, we always make a point to see each other. And that's really cool and special.
Can you think of a specific time that it was the community that held you accountable rather than the software, the hardware, the Peloton ecosystem itself?
Yeah, I could point to one point when when I lost my mom in December 2021. I shared my journey with what I was going through, so other people who was going through something similar, they understood that they were not alone. And the community held me accountable. So somebody hit me up and said, hey, jump on this ride. It was an AT ride. And, it was just lost my mom. I just flew back home from Houston to the Bay Area. And I jumped on the ride, and I got a shout out. It was like AT knew what I was going through, because it was like a 30-second shout out. And I almost, I cried. And I needed that. And I'm just like okay, who reached out to AT and told him, But it was just, and they in my group just held me accountable, because I was about to spiral, because you lose a parent, it's just something that you just can't really grasp, So yeah.
Wow. That's infinitely more powerful than any challenge or streak or blue dot or anything.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Really, really, really special.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's stayed in the memory for that long. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the best. John, how about yourself?
I remember when we first got our bike, I was scared of everything about it. I was scared of the leaderboard. I was scared. I was intimidated. I would just, I'd go on the schedule and I would join a live class just to see like who was on there, but I wouldn't clip in and start pedaling.
Wow. Okay.
I was very just intimidated by everything, like such a fear, and I don't even, know how to explain where that fear comes from. But when I started riding with Jen Sherman, which was pretty early on, I remember posting in her. And I'd never really done more than a 30-minute ride. For some reason, I was scared to do longer than that, like a 45 or a 60-minute. And I remember posting in her group, I really want to do this 60-minute 80s ride, but I'm really nervous to do 60 minutes.
Like that was going to be live?
No, it was on demand.
Okay.
No, I still wasn't doing live yet. But I was really nervous, and I put that out there. And they said, and just lots of comments of encouragement. It's don't worry about it, and it was a blast. It flew by, and I love that genre of music. But really, that's where you have that community, that support to get you through it. And really, so much of it is just in my head, making it so much out worse than it really is, and it's not bad at all. But yeah, back then it was everything I was scared about. Now I love, to ride live. I love the longer classes. It's just looking back at the progress, the arc.
Yeah.
Of where I've come. It's kind of cool.
Having the leaderboard right in front of you, seeing there's all these people live at the exact same time you're working out, it's magical. And there were so many people who would post their stories on Facebook, and it was really motivating to see people who might be going through health crisis or other things. I particularly remember Paige at the time was going through cancer, and she got on the bike every single day, even though she was going through chemo. And it kind of made me feel like, what excuses could I possibly have to not exercise? And exercise makes me feel better, but I didn't feel that motivation to get on the bike until I found Peloton, and seeing other people made me keep coming back. That's the difference.
We often talk about the notion of getting fit, but sometimes I feel like that feels like a very short-term goal. How do you feel like your focus has potentially shifted towards longevity, staying fit for the future you?
You go, John.
And do you feel like Peloton's helped you do that, helped you really think about those things long term?
Oh, absolutely. Because when we got our bike, when we became members, I was in my 30s. I was more of a cardio junkie, and now it's definitely shifted to, now I'm in my 40s, and now it's shifted to more, strength, core, obviously, the metabolism slowed down a little bit. I need to, tone down. The weight loss isn't as easy as it used to be in the 30s. So there's so many different programs along the strength modality, the boot camps, because it's hard to motivate me. I'm so competitive that I always want to be in a class where there's a leaderboard where you can race. And the strength, obviously, that's not what it's about. So I love the tread and the row and the bike boot camps, but definitely shifted more along the strength side for longevity. Because obviously the cardio, like my knees, I've definitely felt it more. I can't go as crazy as I used to. And I definitely have to stretch, but I got to do the warm up. There's more like preparation.
You do.
The pre-stretch, the post-stretch. I'm feeling it, right now after all the classes I did just recently in the studio. So, yeah, it definitely changes over the years.
Derek, do you think about things a little bit more holistically as well across multiple modalities?
Yes. Going into a brick and mortar place like a gym, you don't really, you kind of close-minded to what's in that gym. But when you go into our communities, you find out more. I probably have more high-priced Normatex gear at my house than the actual store, because I believe in recovery. After you work out, you go give 100 into your workout, but if you give 0 into your recovery, then that 100 become like nothing. It's wiped out.
Yeah, for me, I think I look back at times where I would bounce from one workout to another and just keep going and keep flowing through day to day. Now it's unthinkable that I wouldn't invest time in recovery and rest and making sure I'm replenished, ready to go again and keep levels of performance nice and high. How do you feel about that?
I agree, and I feel like Peloton as a platform has matured and aged as I have, and with many of us. I feel like I also used to do a lot of cardio, and as perimenopause, menopause hits, you're like, oh, suddenly strength is a lot more important. You're losing strength every day, and being aware of that, the platform being aware of that with me is great. Anxiety also becomes a larger thing as you get older, and so, or at least maybe today's everything happening today. But meditation is also great to help you relax and help with the cortisol levels as well as yoga. And I just feel like Peloton in general, like I said, has just really matured in the same way that I have. And I appreciate that very much.
Was there a moment that you can think of during your journey with Peloton where you stopped thinking about calories burned or distance traveled and started to think, how is this going to make me feel when I'm 65, 70, 75, 80?
Yeah, turning 40, we'll do that. But also...
Can't wait. Can't wait. Must be nice.
But also seeing your kids get older, you know, I've got, my youngest is now in college this year, and thinking about that I want to be around for years. I want to see all of her milestones, and I want to see what happens in her life. So I don't want to just live till I'm 90. I want to live well until I'm 90. I want to feel good. I want to get around. I want to see the whole world, and Peloton helps me with that.
That's going to lead me into a really exciting segment for us here. I'm going to ask you some member questions for members from members, which I think is cool and it's very nuanced as well. First question, and jump right in if you think you've got an answer. If you could be any instructor for a day, who would you be and why?
Ooh. Mariana Fernandez. Because
good choice.
She's so kind and she shows up for everybody in her life. And I think that's an amazing trait that she has. And she's very real and she comes across as very authentic to me, at least.
She is. I can vouch for that.
I'd say Cody.
Of course.
Jon, no way.
This is
Shocker.
And this is just for a day, don't forget, okay? You get one day.
Yeah. Just because I feel like he's one of the biggest celebrities. You know, he's been on Dancing with the Stars. You know, he's got a book. I feel like he's one of the biggest recognizable faces of Peloton, but he's also so fun. So it'd just be kind of fun to walk in his shoes for a day and just see kind of like the attention and firsthand that he gets.
Do you know what I would say to you? I spent some good time with him the other day, and he's a good friend of mine, obviously. What will strike you when you are him for a day is just how humble he is.
Yeah.
He's an incredibly humble guy. So yeah, that's what you're gonna have to uphold that when you spend your day as Cody, okay? So you might be a big celebrity, but
stay down.
are you prepared?
Stay
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Stay humble.
Exactly. Derek, what do you think?
Wow, man, that's a hard choice. But if I had to, somebody I wanted to like spend a day in, I would do Adrian.
Would you really?
Yes.
I have no idea why. Why would you say that?
It's just because if I figure I'm Adrian, I could do every workout he do. I can master. I can master his workout better. So it's like because Adrian have that spirit that when he teaching his class, it's like okay, cool. And then plus for one day I have all those ladies that like swanning. I'm
I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to mention that, but what I would say is if you could spend the day with people looking at you like people look at Adrian, between the three of you, I think it's great selections for very different reasons. Amazing stuff. Next question. If you were stranded on a deserted island, which instructor would you want to be with you and why?
Susie Chan.
You'd want Susie Chan there?
Absolutely. First of all, she's hilarious. And second of all, she has done every long race on the planet that's really difficult. She's survived all of them. So I figure she will make sure we survive on a desert island.
Okay. I like that one. Yeah, strong choice. I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking, yeah, she's got this. Even if it gets hot, she's
going to handle it.
I've done worse.
She can do all of it.
Jon.
I would say Jen Sherman.
Jen Sherman.
She's someone that I've connected with like from the get-go, from like the moment, the first class I took with her, which was a Green Day ride back in 2017. I remember just saying how much, I posted on the official Peloton member page, and I remember posting saying like how much I love Jen Sherman. Like she's so connected to the leaderboard and everyone in the studio, like she knows them so well. And then once I got to know her, you know, there were so many similarities. We're both native New Jerseyans, born and raised in New Jersey. We love Howard Stern. We're big Grateful Dead fans. Very same like tastes, similar tastes in music. And she's just someone whenever I've gone to the studio or interacted with, we just get along just so well. And I could see just, we could be listening to Grateful Dead on the island, kicking back, or having a laugh to
Where are you
Howard
getting this
Stern.
radio?
John, we've got to survive on a deserted island here. We need more than music and laughter, okay? Okay, very different reasoning here.
Yes.
I enjoy it though. Derek, what are you going for?
I'm stuck on the island.
Is it Adrian again?
No. I think I'd be 18 because 18 like, nah, bro, we get out of here. We get out of here. Come on, we get out of third. Get out of third. Let's get out of third. We get out of here. I feel 18. We'd be like, yeah, come on. We get the hell out of this island.
I really feel that. He would be a straight refusal. He was respectfully, we're getting off the island. And I'll be like,
I got classes on Saturday. Come on.
great selections again. Look at us for very different reasons. None of you picked me, but that's completely okay. That's completely okay.
You know what, John? I think if we was on the island, man, you'd be like, oh.
Do you reckon so? Do you reckon so?
Hey, let's go walk around the island and see what we can find.
Now, if you had said who's everybody's boyfriend, then we would have said you, because
Okay.
you
Listen,
that is your
That's
epitome.
not what the members asked. That is not what the members
but
asked.
that's what we would have answered.
I'm sure someone asked.
John, I would never say that I'm walking on ice or walking on eggshells when I'm thinking about saying a certain thing in class, but I have become aware of individuals online that might clip up things that I've said and reposition them or perhaps take them out of context. And there have been occasions where I've said something and then thought, John Prewitt might get hold of that one day, or someone might tell him that it exists. How did this start? Where did this start, and what made you then think, I'm doing something with this?
It really began way back when we first got our bike, and I was riding, when I started riding live with Dennis and Jen and Cody primarily. I would notice that they would have this, they would go live in the stream if you joined the class early enough, 6-7 minutes before the actual class time started. And it would be back then it was very casual. People would be coming and going out of the studio, setting up their bikes. It wouldn't be like the doors closed, nobody else can enter, after a certain time. And Dennis, especially back then, he was very chatty. He would tell all these stories, randomly interacting with people in the studio, and they wouldn't be clipped in at this point. He would just be, walking around on the stage, talking to the camera, talking to members in the studio. And nobody was back then, nobody was paying attention to the studio. It's kind of funny the way they interact with Cody. He's just talking to himself into the camera. And he goes, did anybody get that? Okay, no, okay, fine. And then he just moves on. But I started recording that.
Yes.
I would start, screen recording it. And then I would share little clips of it, within the Menaces page or the Boo Crew or Jen's group. And sometimes people would reach out to me and say, hey, did you happen to catch my shout out? Mm-hmm. And I would, clip it and send it to them, and they really appreciated that. But then I would take some of those moments, post them on YouTube, and then it kind of grew to like a Cody compilation or a Best of Dennis compilation. And then from there, it just sort of evolved. Back then, I wasn't on Instagram or TikTok. I think it morphed into the, adding a meme that was very relatable to the overall world that wasn't maybe Peloton specific. And that's where it kind of grew, because I think there's so many people that follow my account that aren't Peloton members, but they just they're so entertained from the laugh that they get. It just grew and grew from there. I remember when we went to Peloton on tour in Chicago, and Cody was there, and I was doing some like little contest with him, a quotes contest. And when they gave him the microphone, Cody said, "Jon, do you have a job?" He said, "Are you employed?"
Do you have an all-time favorite clip that you've posted?
That's a loaded question, Jon. I mean,
hey, here we are.
I mean, most
viral one.
I mean, Dennis.
Okay.
You know, from was it almost 2 years ago now? His Power Zone class where he played Nas's Uchi Wally. And I'm sure you've seen the clip. You know, he's thinking he's playing the heavily edited version. Because that song is
Not the Walmart version.
it's wildly explicit, sexually explicit, and you can just tell he's fighting, like he's looking at the camera, and you know he tries to explain like, I thought I was playing the edited version. This is clearly not.
You can see the wheels turning.
It's like he can't skip past the song fast enough.
Derek, what I find so inspirational and so amazing is the fact that you've turned your personal journey and your solo journey on your bike into a support system for 40,000 people in the Black Peloton Riders. Yes. How did this come to the fore, and what's kept you going? And do you feel that big, almost a responsibility now of like having this go? I think it's absolutely extraordinary.
I think in the world we live in, with social media, we are so selective what we put out there. And my stepfather, who just recently passed, he was a recovered drug addict. And in high school, my freshman year in high school, I used to go to meetings with him. And those meetings showed me how to love and share. Because you'll get somebody come in just like maybe like 2 days off coming out of rehab, struggling, and they sharing. And they constantly share. Then you see them get that 30-day chip, that 60-day chip, that 90-day chip, that 1 year chip, that, you know, and it's like, and then how they just kept going, but the more they share, the more it touched other people. So I took that approach. And, you know, social media is not the place where you want to put everything out there, but sometimes you have to put it out there so other people know, hey, you're not struggling. And so a lot of the time in like BPR, I'll put stuff out there that I'm dealing with. Or I'll make a post on Facebook, and, you know, all I need is one person to like it, and I've done my job for the day. I'm good. Sometimes I get a bunch of people, sometimes I don't. But, you know, just if one person like it, then I already reached out and touched them.
Do you feel like a leader?
Nah, I want to be a follower.
Really?
Yes.
Maybe that's, you know, a trait of some of the best leaders out there, is that they feel that way and you feel part of it rather than taking people on your journey with you.
Because in this part of this journey, I look up to a lot of people.
Yes.
From all walks of life. I look up to them. And I try to be like them, emulate them in some sort of way.
And you vocalize that?
Yes, I do, all the time. Because I think that, you know, if you put yourself on the top, what's going to push you to go up? But when you make yourself a follower, you can lead people by showing them, but hey, if I'm doing it, you can do it also. And that's why, you know, I always try to remain humble with you in this community, because I want to continue to grow. The more I grow, hopefully other people can see, and you come in there. But when you try to be that leader, you're closing yourself off to everybody. And as a community, we, you know, all three of us, we all want people to feed into us, but we want also to feed into other people. Yes.
In amongst that, there's so many special stories over the course of the last 5-6 years.
Yes.
But I want to touch on one story in particular where the group got together to raise money for another member to get them a bike.
Yes.
Talk to me about this.
So I was kind of like in a dark moment, like going through my mom. Health at the time, and there was a young lady named Tanya. She would come in the group, and she would, you know, somebody post a milestone, a birthday, she'd just make a post with like 10,000 emojis. I was like, well, you're using up all the emojis, congratulating people. She was always positive. And I remember one day she had made a post talking about did a ride on a recumbent bike. I'm like, Peloton don't make a recumbent bike. Now I'm like kind of curious about it. So I started going through her post trying to see, like, okay, what she's talking about. She was disabled. She didn't know me. She, we knew each other in the page, but, she was kind of like real private. So I kind of like DM'd her, asked her some questions and stuff. We need to take her on. So I reached out to a few people, say, look, I'm going to start off at $500. Can you guys donate like $100, $50, whatever? Because I want to help Tanya get a bike. And I was just thinking, like, just a plain basic package, just to get a regular bike. Well, there was one lady in the group, she found out about it, so she threw it to the group. And within like 2 hours, we raised enough money to get her the top, was just before the Bike Plus came out, the top package, plus paid 3 years of membership.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yes. And it was that moment that where, for me, I was just happy to see her. And that's what I think the community is, because we able to help each other. That moment was real nice. And I thank everybody that contributed to that moment.
Crystal, I heard a rumor circulating that you started the podcast because you were talking so much about Peloton that your husband Tom said, honey, I think you should start a podcast so I only have to listen to it for an hour a week.
That is absolutely 1,000% true.
Incredible. And then how did it start? How did it materialize? What happened after that?
Well, he has a podcast already, so we had all the equipment in the basement, and it evolved very quickly. I reached out to Matt Wilpers, and I said, hey, you want to be on our podcast? And he said, sure. And so he was our very first guest. And I also wanted to get to know the community members. I saw all these people on the leaderboard every day. One of the very first people I also reached out to was Yanina. She's Yaya on the leaderboard. She would post every day everybody's milestones, because back then you could. So she had a Starbucks cup, and she would post. She'd go to Starbucks every morning, and if you had a milestone that morning, she would post your milestone in her Starbucks cup. So I wanted to get to know this woman and ask her how this came to be. And so that is how the podcast came to be. I just would reach out and ask people about things I would learn about them on Facebook.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
Yes.
That's an extra tall grande Starbucks cup going on.
At the time, it wasn't.
Oh, really? Okay.
At the time, it wasn't. You might only have 2 or 3 milestones. Eventually, she did have to stop because the whole side of her cup, she had to get 2. And she was like, it's getting expensive. I can't buy that many.
This is a lot of caffeine. And a decade on from when you started the podcast, does Tom still just listen to your hour a week? He just tunes in for your hour a week on the podcast?
He does. I do all the prep work, and he just shows up and makes jokes. He has...
Incredible.
Yeah.
And it comes out once a week?
It does come out once a week, every Friday morning.
Amazing stuff. Do you feel like that, being involved in the podcast and having the podcast, do you feel like that keeps you accountable to another level with regards to your activity on the platform?
Absolutely. Yeah. I had decided I was going to do a 21 miler at Big Sur. It's not quite a marathon, but they have a 21 mile version that they do. Lovely area. So
why don't they go just the extra?
They have a marathon, but you have to have a cut. You have to be able to be fast enough to do the entire cutoff. And I was definitely not. I am a very slow runner, but I really wanted to do it because I wanted to eventually make it to New York and do a New York City marathon, which I eventually did. I was training for Big Sur, and I actually got hit by a car while training for Big Sur. And it was, I think, 7 weeks to the day after I got hit, Big Sur occurred, and I was out there, and I felt like I said I was going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I did, and my friends were by my side, and that was the most emotional I've ever been crossing a finish line. It was very emotional.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to go for some quick fire questions now, okay? Question number 1. Peloton Studios New York or Peloton Studios London? If you could only visit one of those studios for the rest of your life, which one would it be and why?
London.
Ooh. I would say New York.
I love New York because I'm gravitate more towards the instructors there, but I do love the vibe more at PSL. It's a lot easier to get into classes there. I like just the overall setup there, with the shower rooms and the unisex locker rooms.
Yeah. Location's insane as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Location's amazing.
Yeah, Rain Covent Garden.
It's just the interaction. Here it's like we try to after class, you don't have that time to talk to the instructor. You go to London, they sit down and have coffee with you. You know,
Very casual.
Very
Yeah.
casual. So yes.
Next one is fabulous. I want you to each describe Peloton to a skeptic in 3 words.
Best exercise ever.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Concise. Loved it.
Here's a 60-day pass.
Before they've noticed that it's not 3 words, they're like, give me that, let's go. John, how about you?
Fitness, community, engagement.
Lovely. Really nice.
Sum it up.
Across the board, you did a great job there. Really, really good. Who would be the best guest to be invited into the studio and in which class? You get a special guest to bring with you. You've given them a 60-day free pass. And taken some meditations. Now it's time to bring them to the studio. Who would that be and in which class?
I would love to see Shaq in a row class.
I'll go with that.
Because I think he would, you know, it would be awkward for him, but he would bring that energy into rowing. And, you know, once Shaq endorsed, you know, get into something, it just take up. I would
Yeah.
love to see, because I'd just love to see Shaq in a row class.
I like that.
Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe, okay.
Yes, and with Jen Sherman specifically,
Yes.
because she is a huge Rob Lowe fan. We've heard this for years. We know he's on the leaderboard. So seeing him in a live class would be amazing. That would be the coolest ever.
Inexcusable for us to not have him in now.
I agree.
And she did an actual Rob Lowe class.
She did all, yes, like it was all movies and songs and things related to those movies. So
I wonder if he's taken that class.
I'm sure he
I'd
has.
love to think
I
that
feel that he has.
Well, you know how his sons love to shade him all the time? They posted, like, they shared a story, like one of his sons, maybe it was Johnny Lowe. He was scrolling through the recent classes on his Peloton bike and he came across the Jen Sherman Rob Lowe class and he said, no. He just shook his head. No way. I would say Tom Cruise. I don't know, he's high energy, he's so athletic, and I feel like he would be you'd have a lot of personality there, and it would be a lot of fun.
Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise.
Yes.
That version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Jumping on his bike, Tom Cruise, like the couch.
Yeah.
Just bringing that energy.
Very cool. What is the most extreme thing you have ever done to maintain a streak or complete a challenge? And I need full honesty here, okay? Full honesty. The most insane thing you've done. I'm hearing rumours, for example, that a member that I spoke to checked into another hotel that had a Peloton bike in order to keep the streak going, didn't even stay in that hotel and went back to the hotel they had originally booked. I was like, wow, that's something.
That is something.
So you lot just keep your streaks going. You don't.
No, I
you
keep
don't-
my streak going. I mean,
Yeah.
I think one thing I've done is started meditation on a plane,
That's nice.
on a red eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what a nice place to meditate as well.
Well, I mean, also too, I get 2 days. I get, you know, you started at 11:45, and boom, we get out. So 30 minutes later, boom, at 12:15. Hey, I'm good. So the next day I don't have to worry about doing anything. So yeah,
And my headspace is immaculate.
yeah.
Every time I walk the dog, I do a just walk every
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Because
Same.
I have to keep the
Yes.
streak going.
Okay.
Well, and also I like to keep the walk, count
Yeah, and
going.
also-
I might as well get
same-
credit
same
for
thing.
it.
Okay.
When they came
And I
out
like
with
to see
Just
the-
Walk, it just made life so much easier.
So much easier. Anywhere.
I'm going to go clean the house. Cardio.
And then as well, you then have it all in one place.
Yes.
This is how I feel about
Yes.
it. If you
Yeah.
just walk or just
Yes.
run, you're like, now I've got it all together and I have a little look at what we got
Yes.
going on here, my activity over the course of the last month. I like that.
Well, when you mentioned the hotel, I've totally done that, and I did that just before the pandemic. I was in Nashville with my wife, and we were staying at a hotel that didn't have Peloton bikes, but there was a Westin a couple blocks down, and I went over there, and I didn't even try to go up to the front desk and ask them if I could use the fitness room. Like, I just sort of hovered around the fitness room door and waited for somebody to come out and then creep in. And I wanted to do, and it was a live.
It's all coming out now, isn't it? Hey?
And I, obviously, I love to ride live, and it was a live Cody ride. I had to do it, and I had forgotten my earbuds to bring them from the other hotel, and I just said hell with it, and I just blasted the class on the tab, like no shame. Like there was a couple people in the fitness room, and eventually, like some older guy was like, "Can you turn that down?" Like he He was pissed.
There's a most wanted poster of you in the lobby of that hotel.
But you got to do what you got to do,
Hey.
you know?
Cody Rigsby for president, yay or nay?
Yay, what the hell?
Sure, why not?
No.
For a moment there, I was worried that was going to be resounding support for Cody Rigsby 2027. What's going on here? Very interesting to hear this.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming and joining me here, and I can't wait for something else like this again in the future. And if you're knocking around in any restaurants soon, careful, because Peloton might be at the next table. We'll see you soon.